All right. Woo. We are live. Yay. I'm here with my girl, Nicole from Awakening Mass Meditations, and I'm Danielle Kane, who is running this awesome opportunity to have conversations with 5D all day and spirit
Woohoo.
calling. Yay. But man, I'm going to get more people on these calls because I have some big topics that I want to talk about.
For
And
sure.
today is one of them. And man, I know you and I are like kind of on the same page, but I've got something to share about what I think this is all about. So,
Awesome. That sounds great.
yeah. Do you want to give a quick introduction? I know you're always on with me and I appreciate you. But why don't you just do a quick
Absolutely.
little introduction of your what you're up to these days?
That sounds great. Thank you very
Mhm.
much.
You're
So
welcome.
I'm Nicole Gibbs. I am the creator of Awakening Mass Meditations, where I have mass meditations on the 11th of every month, where everyone is invited. And we are collectively raising the vibrations is the goal of that. I have a website, awakeningmassmeditations.com, that I've been doing a lot of work on. We have sound healing meditations, regular guided meditations, and just other things to raise your vibe if you need guidance, finding soul purpose, just everything to come together in one spot so we can connect and raise the vibes, since that seems like that's the goal these days. All these
Yeah.
days, but we're more falling in line to that, it feels like. So I've just been really excited to be in alignment and to follow my soul's purpose, and it just keeps expanding from there. So I'm just so thankful to be in this space and to connect with you and amazing people that are on the journey the same. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. That's where I'm doing.
Well, I actually was at your last meditation on 11/11. That was awesome.
That was
Even
a
if
great
like
one.
I'm kind of I wasn't able to actually like fully dive in, but I like to like even like you said, you can meditate even when you're not laying down or whatever. But I was in a
For
space where I
sure.
wanted to be connected to the vibration of the
Yeah.
collective energy. So I appreciate that. Even
Yeah. Thank
when,
you for being there.
yeah, it's something that we need to make sure that in our daily practice. For me, I didn't have one forever, and I can't stress how important it is to have something
For
for
sure.
yourself.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge.
I mean, you just, once you have that self-love and self-care into your routine and you are able to give more, like your cup is more full instead of just giving from a depleted state. So it's very important to have that
Mhm.
space for yourself, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like we were saying, closed off, eyes closed, laying down. It can be, a groove you get in where you're writing or you're reading or you're creating art or whatever it is, just in a relaxed state, just thinking, just at rest.
Mhm.
There's just so
Mhm.
many different ways, being out in nature, connecting with your animals and your family and your friends, just
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think what it is too, for me, it could be something as simple as having something for you every morning, like a if you
Mm,
have a cup of
yeah,
tea that you that herbal tea that's
absolutely.
good for you.
Yes.
And or you have a massage practice, essential oil practice or whatever.
Mhm.
Those are
Yeah,
things that can be done within like 2 minutes. You
right,
know, putting the
absolutely.
water on, heats up in 2 minutes. And
Mhm.
that's something that I found really important because I knew it was for me and that it was
Right.
providing nutrients. It's providing
Yes.
self-care, self-love, like you said.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely feel you on that, the healthy nutrients kind of thing. Right now, I kinda go in waves of being on, like, a health kick, but really focusing intentionally of what is being put in my body so
Yeah.
I can carry this certain vibration that I'm desire. But if I'm just not intentional about what I'm putting in, and then I'm feeling all these types of lower vibrational feelings or, upset stomach, things like that, it's the small intentional things that can, like you said, just takes a couple minutes. But if you're intentional about what you deserve, what you need, that
Hmm.
just is everything. I mean, from there,
Yeah.
it's the next thing you're thinking about, "Oh, what would I need or what would I like to better myself in this way, in this way?" I just
Yeah.
feel like that's what's happened to me. Once I've focused on one thing, it was like another thing comes in and another,
Hmm.
and then you just kind of feel more fulfilled and well-rounded.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that what a great start to our conversation of why it's important to have self-care and what is this reality. So let me tell you
Mhm.
why I came to this conclusion because I'm part of various groups such as yours on Telegram. Get a lot of content on there. I'm in a few groups, a lot very similar, some different. Um, the world that I see it, and I'm going to categorize it as a spirituality group or whatever. Because these conversations are happening in these groups, not necessarily with people that, I'm in line with to go pick my children up at school. So that's why I'm saying this is where I'm kind of interested to see what people think of what this reality is.
Yeah,
Um,
great
and
question.
so, yeah. And so what I'm finding is that there are belief systems that either someone had and they've changed recently, and or maybe people just don't have any idea what they might think, or
Hmm.
they have this idea of um, good versus evil, or
Yeah,
ascension, or high vibing
right.
all the time, simulation. So I'm just
Yeah,
curious to what people think. And so,
yeah.
Nicole, I'm going to put it in your court first
Okay,
as to
that sounds
what
good.
you think the purpose of this all is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a very great question that the journey itself is that it in itself is just seeking and trying to understand more like remember because we've done this
Mhm,
before.
mhm.
But I really feel like everything you're saying is all different perspectives of the same whole in a way,
Yeah.
because we all can live with different perspectives, different understandings of how energy works or the universe works or what's good, what's bad, things like that. But doesn't mean one person's wrong, one person's right. It really is an energetic match to what you are here for.
Mhm.
So it could be different for everyone. So what I'm going to say might not fit for you, and that's just fine.
Yeah, exactly.
um,
And it's okay to have a different experience, because let's just say this. You can't see through my eyes. I can't see through
right,
yours.
right.
You're not in my body. I'm not in yours. So every
Yeah, no,
experience is going to be slightly different. However, I do
right,
think it's really cool that among a lot of people, we have similar kind of
right.
understandings or consciousness. Like
Absolutely.
I hear this term being used as new age, right? New age spiritual. And I just don't connect with that at all. For me, it's like I see it as more like
Yeah.
people have come up with these ideas or beliefs, and or someone's had experience working with energy where
Right.
this information is coming forward, and I just use my intuition. I use what my being feels is of my truth, and that's
Mm,
how I kind of decipher what feels good or what doesn't feel good. And
yeah,
then
absolutely.
I trust that gut feeling now, where before I didn't even understand anything.
Yeah, no, and the intuition and the discernment for
Yeah.
what that feels right for you is really the compass to guide
Mhm.
you. So you really
Right.
have to be aware of what you're feeling because it can be easy to kind of slip into maybe a program or
Yep.
something that works for someone else that you're like, okay, they see all these things about it that I can see there's truth to, but some pieces I agree with, some pieces I don't. And just gathering those pieces to what is your truth is
Mm-hmm.
that is the truth. That is it. And all these things we have like analogies, it's all the same things. Like we have our chakra system, we have energy meridian lines, we have, all these energetic things that correlate as above, so below in this like holographic way. It's all the same thing. It's just a micro or macro version of what we're talking about. So what I'm trying to say is for me specifically, the unified field is what I refer to. And it's, the energy that comes from source. Everything is aligned and connected with this energetic field.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you can see with the patterns in nature are connected to the same geometric frequency that is running through all of us all the time. And
Right.
so for me, knowing that we are an energy and knowing energy doesn't disappear, it's either shifted lower or higher, and that can equivalent to different ways of understanding being. So for me, knowing that I have a responsibility, if you will, that I have energy in me and that I can have the free will to raise that up to connect to do all the things that we were mentioning. So for me, it's a vibration. It is a frequency. And I know when this frequency or vibration is not being in alignment or healthy or balanced, that things get chaotic and disorganized, which
Mm-hmm.
is the direct opposite of what we have duality. So I'm trying to reach the opposite of, because you can see both. And when you can see both at the same time, it makes it so much easier to choose free will and just designate your life to raising your vibe and connecting. So I'm not sure if this really makes sense, but I just truly believe and
Yeah.
understand that everything is connected by energy. Everything
Mm-hmm.
has a perspective of itself. It could be a bigger or smaller version of what we see, but we can connect on these things because that energetic frequency that's running through our bodies. And so really it comes down to love. Love is a huge frequency of this dimension we're living in. It holds us together. It's the glue that really is the frequency of source and connection. So
Yeah.
love, unconditional love, how to bring that forward in my life and other people's lives and just the earth in itself, and just kind of understanding what frequencies are and what they mean and what they correlate to. Because to me,
Right.
that's really everything. Without this body, we're still here. We're still this energetic frequency.
Absolutely. You
So
know,
yeah,
it's
there's many ways to look at it.
that is true. There are many ways to look at this. And so why I had like this crazy, I don't know if it was like vivid connection with video games,
Hmm.
but I'm just going to go about what I want to talk about, I guess. So I
Yeah,
watched this apparently on one of the Telegram groups. They posted this movie Nefarious. I don't know if you've heard of it,
I
but
saw that.
it's pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about this guy who basically was possessed by a demon and made him, you could see the switch off of a person, of the actual person's personality being controlled by this demon or whatever. And there's a lot of discussion right now that a demon isn't real, all this stuff. Like, so my one thing here is like, if if thoughts are not real and we know of a demon already, then how many other thoughts of things can we also exclude? Pretty much everything, right? Because none of us met Jesus Christ. So technically that could be a thought, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone just created this person. A lot of
Hmm.
people don't believe in that he exists, although I do. I'm not discounting that. And I do believe, and part of me with even like I've always kind of known of some kind of evil, but I don't know. I don't play in that sandbox, or didn't
Yeah.
play in that sandbox as far as trying to understand it. But
Hmm.
as we start to look at things, let me go back to what I'm saying as far as after watching this, for some reason, I'm like, we live in a simulation. We live in a video game. And
Yeah.
for me, all of a sudden, it was just like, this is why my little hand went up. That was so weird. Is your hand going up? That's so funny.
That's so funny you said that.
Because I'm talking about a demon. That's why they're like, yeah, don't talk
Yeah,
about demons.
no. Yeah, right. Hmm.
Um, anyway, after watching that movie, all of a sudden I was just downloaded with this information because it reminds me of like I'm going to use specifically Mario Brothers or whatever, the what do you call it,
Super
um
Mario Bros.
Super Mario Brothers, and there's all different games now,
Yeah.
but the basic where you have levels and you're trying to capture a princess and there's a bad guy. I mean, there's a whole list of characters that are with you. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and like each stage, you get like special things, special gifts. Maybe you get a crystal that's going to
I
help
love
you
that.
be protected as you go through, your challenges. Or maybe you're gifted with some plant medicine to heal you after you chopped your arm off. I don't know, whatever it is.
Right.
So I'm looking at these, I'm like, oh my God. It's like these are our little gifts along the way of completing that level. And
Right.
maybe in that level, it's a fairly easy level, pretty
Yeah.
easy for once we accomplished it. But then we might get to level 2, and then all of a sudden there's the booze. The booze are creeping in. You remember them? And they would like, if they touched you, you're dead. I'm just like, and sometimes those can come into different levels and all sorts of things. So
Absolutely.
I was looking at this, and because I would always tell my kids, life isn't like a video game. You can't just die and come back. All right. There's truth to that as far as like this actual conceptual human being in this now moment won't come back. But things that I've learned through various books, such as Dolores Cannon's Convoluted Universe, that there are infinite versions of myself playing out over and over and over again, more than we can even comprehend.
Right.
So versions of myself have already died or whatever, and playing out another thought form that I chose not to do.
Mm-hmm.
So like that in itself is mind blowing. So
Right.
that's why I think
Absolutely.
it is, in a way, we chose to come to a physical video game reality to experience, to feel, to have
Yeah.
all those emotions, good
Right.
or bad. And that's when people say there's good or bad isn't bad, right? That's where we chose the game of polarity, right?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think if you can come to a place of seeing it in the middle, because working in the area of lower vibration frequencies in the practice that I'm doing now, a lot of times the energies are there because they got lost along the way. Could be an earthbound spirit who didn't see the light, and they just, like, if you're a nurse, for example, they can
Mm-hmm.
attach. I mean, people are aware of people that have ghosts in their house or
Yeah.
someone, how we can't deny that it's been around for a
Right.
long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that there are people that I know directly that have had really heavy things
Yeah.
that have gotten in there.
Right.
Um, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Sorry, I just threw out a lot
No,
at
it's
you,
great.
but
My mind is like, I just were, I love that you brought forward what you just said
yeah,
and agree with everything. And it does tie back to kind of what I was saying too with energy. So we're going to have the opposite. We're going to have, the duality. So
yeah,
whatever this negative attachment is, what does that really mean on an energetic level? And what can I do knowing that this is energy that is stuck somewhere, and
hmm,
maybe it's in a spot that correlates because everything is correlated. Everything is
yes,
this specific chakra, maybe it's attached to somewhere in my chest. So maybe I need to work on, heart chakra type things and do lots of self-love and releasing because that
totally,
energy needs to shift. It can't disappear, and it can get attached so deeply where it literally controls your life because you've
right.
now let go of your energy to let another energy control because everything
Consume
is
it.
energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know what it
So,
feels like to have the heart chakra completely shut down. And that was something that
yeah,
also programs. I mean, we talk about
right.
programming to allow whatever it could be, some kind of, I'm just going to use AI. Let's just say if somehow you were programmed and your heart shut down, whether you had losses along the way and you just don't want to, your heart's a broken heart, right?
Yeah,
You're not using it. Something else is using that energy. I mean, it's very much
absolutely.
like the Matrix. We are batteries,
Yeah.
man. Like we
Oh,
are the battery.
absolutely. And it's the same. Sorry. It's the same with our thoughts, like you were saying, whatever you're not thinking about or whatever you're contemplating, it's still a thought form. And the more you do think about it, the more energy you give to it. So it becomes more matter and physical. And
Yeah.
like we were saying, it plays out in another timeline, another thought form. So being aware of your thoughts, if you're not being aware of your thoughts, who is?
Right.
So being able to really discern your thoughts versus an intruding thought, we'll say, and
Hmm.
knowing and differentiating what you know is your truth and knowing that what you think of will create a reality. And so, again, to be more in tune and to be aligned
Yeah.
with your truth, you've got to get back to that because there's so many influences out there and everyone's
Yes.
living their own truth, which is great because we need this oneness experience to experience it all. I can't
Yeah.
experience it all by myself here. I need you. I need everybody, to really
Absolutely.
understand and remember different ways to be. And that's the whole point is just being, creating, thinking, being, all these things. And so knowing there is an opposite that can attach, that's in an energy, knowing that you have the power to alchemize and transmute mute that energy. I mean, it is a game, like we're saying, it is always there's always a piece for you to realize and understand to unlock more of your fractal being of your soul
Hmm.
purpose.
Hmm.
because all of this is happening for a reason. You went through these heartaches and things for a reason to
Yeah,
unlock more of your soul and your fractal being.
sure.
So
I
yeah,
do. And I think we contract everything that we want in our life, good or bad. I mean,
absolutely.
I
Yes.
don't, I don't think it's by chance that I'm even having a conversation like this. You would ask me, I always said, you asked me this 5 years ago, and I would never be talking about this ever.
Right. Oh my gosh. And just the
And
short amount of time
right,
condensed that's been happening.
part of me would have been like, this is not, why would someone be talking about this openly? Like, I got to
Right.
fit in. I got to blend in. Like, don't be sticking out like
Absolutely.
a sore thumb. And now it's just like, I want to know what people think. And
Right.
sometimes if someone's not thinking about this stuff, that's okay. I mean, hey, but I've
Yeah,
just like
that's
to,
true.
I just am curious of how someone goes about their day. I'm not saying I go about my day living in a video game, but what I find really neat is kind of there's something about our children these days because I talk to a lot of parents and the kids are doing something that we didn't do. Like they're very interested in observing how others play the game.
I totally know what you mean. The kids lately have been okay, so I have an example.
Yeah.
Our clothing industry line, the textile industry has been, maybe many of you know, the landfill is out of control. It's very devastating what is happening to our planet with just waste, that can't be recycled or biodegradable and is killing our planet, bringing down our vibration. A lot of kids coming in now, a lot of younger souls are coming in with this undeniable knowing of this intelligence that we just
Mhm.
need to just we need to be aware of the frequencies. So the drive for people to get into fashion, to be more eco-friendly, conscious about, earth-friendly clothing made of hemp or whatever it is,
Yeah.
to just know that it's just a flood of these younger vibration souls that are coming in with just this instant knowing that we need to, why is this happening? We need to change this. What are we doing here? We need to, like, it's just an instant knowing. And that in itself is absolutely beautiful and something
Yeah.
to, I mean, we're all in this together, but it's all a piece of the whole. But I do realize how quickly this is happening with these younger people coming in with these things that we've been needing for a long time because we are hurting as a planet. So it's
Absolutely.
amazing to see the kids coming in just ready to go.
Yeah. And I also believe this is my belief, not saying to not care. You have a part to
Yeah.
contribute to the earth. But I do think Mother Earth is a very strong
Oh,
being,
yes. Very
and she
alive.
is very well taking care of herself as well.
Hmm.
I think that
Yes,
at
I
the end
agree
of
with
the
that.
day, we need to go within to be the best version to help her, and really look at how to fully expand ourselves and
Hmm.
be connected to her.
Right.
And by doing that, you feed her just as much as she feeds you.
Exactly.
Um, I can't, I mean, I look back at where I was growing up, dying for like nutrients because I was always in pain, always
Yeah,
had stomach pains. And, that was the time where the baby boomers were all about making it quick, making it fast so we could work more and,
absolutely.
go see the doctor and get medicine to make the bellyache go away. Meanwhile, it wasn't about like, let's stop and think about what we're putting in our bodies. And
No.
I'm lucky that I can really turn that around for myself. And first, obviously, I see
Mhm.
what it feels good, but I'm so adamant, I'm so passionate about that for my own children. And I hope that more families are doing that. I obviously know how conscious you are, and it could be conscious in various ways, as long as we're getting it from the
Yeah,
cleanest sources, from the ground, from the
right.
trees. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
best place you can get it.
right.
But yeah, I agree with you with like, but and it would be great to have products that, it's really hard to sometimes shop economically with for
Yeah,
hemp and all that stuff and organic cotton. But for
right.
me, I'm all about hand-me-downs. Like, man, like I don't
Right.
want to be buying clothes for my kids all the time.
Yeah,
And it stinks when
sure.
you run out of people to find hand-me-downs.
Oh my
But
gosh, tell me about it.
I always donate my clothes. When
Right.
I've and listen, I'm someone who's like just recently, I think we shared this on the last one. My mom shopped for me for years. And I have clothes seriously still from college, and I'm 41 years old. And there is a time where I'm like, I need to care a little bit more for myself to
I
be
know.
able to find something that I enjoy to wear that I can energetically connect to, not because I feel like,
Mhm.
well, someone will buy it for me. I don't like to shop, and I don't like shopping. But if I really want something, I'm going to get it now. Where before I would just be like, whatever, I'll just wear what I've worn for 30 years.
I know exactly what you mean. Again, though, I think it's this subconscious of waste. I don't know if I've always been like
Totally.
that. Like every time we get something new, I'm like, how can we recycle or give this
Oh,
away?
yeah.
Like always, because I'm the
Just put it
same way.
out
I
on
have
your curb
clothes
and Brian
forever.
will fly out and buy it or grab it. I mean,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's nice to have people that, know the benefits of secondhand things. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and that is so
absolutely.
true. And I just, in the same way, I'm just so conscientious about this. But I've learned along my journey that I feel better and more in my truth when I'm in earth colors, earth tones,
Yeah.
and natural materials. Like there's just things that I've realized that, like for instance, this green color, you'll see if I'm
Yeah.
wearing like some vibrant, super bright, of course it's in nature somewhere, but not an earth-based tone. I don't feel as grounded, and it's kind of interesting. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't have learned that had I just kind of gone with the flow all the time,
Yeah.
just to be
Yeah.
really conscientious about what feels good for me and what's right, all those things. So it is.
Yeah. But I totally, I think that we all have an energetic frequency towards color, towards material.
Absolutely.
I do
Yes.
think these polyesters are not what's in alignment. I think the frequency of them is not. Like if you look at like I think they have a hertz frequency, don't they?
Yeah, everything is.
Yeah, everything has a frequency. So there are things to make us somewhat off kilter, I guess,
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
I don't know if it would be imbalanced, but it stresses the body just in the fact that the way that it's made isn't in alignment
right.
with what our bodies really should be.
Exactly. Yeah,
So I get that. And that's with like everything around us, right? We could go over
everything.
so many different things. And here's where we go back to the simulation, right? We go
Right,
back
exactly.
to, you know, we're going through different various versions of the game.
Right,
And
true.
you become more aware after you've completed a level. Like you're more aware now. Oh, I'm more aware. I'm more conscious. I like to be able
Totally.
to wear this. If I feel like I'm quicker, I'm more in tune, so it's like you develop these abilities in the
Absolutely.
game of life, right?
Definitely. I love that. And
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, when we think about the polarity, like we were saying, our thoughts go two ways. We can have attachments, we have chakras, we have all these things that are energy, and it could be something that you're going through where you are needing to shift that energy. So maybe you're feeling sick, you're feeling an attachment perhaps,
Hmm.
and knowing where to go for that is
Yeah.
a big piece because there's so much information out there that is convoluted and
Hmm.
it's not necessarily most beneficial to you, but knowing that you could be going through a possible low vibrational energy, um, but knowing that you have the tools within to shift out of it. It comes, from your diet, like all these little things that you can pay attention to. Like you're saying, everything is frequency, everything is energy.
Right.
And if you're not paying attention to it, someone else's energy or frequency is going to be filling that up because this whole place is just bombarded with frequencies,
Yeah.
energies. And
Yeah.
so,
I mean, we
it's
can't
very
deny
like that.
that there are frequencies that were you know about more about this than I do, and you could probably speak better on behalf of it, but that it's known that they use
Yeah,
like radio waves as a form of attack.
absolutely. Yeah,
And we can't deny that. Like, so
absolutely.
people are like, no, we don't do these, just don't exist. These things do. And that
Oh, yeah.
they've changed all the music that you hear on the radio to a lower hertz than
Yep.
the ones that are in best for to make you feel happy, to make you
Yep.
feel it gives you a lower vibration. Can you speak on that? Because this is your jam. I mean, this is where this is your
Exactly. So
area, girl.
For sure. Yeah. So, and the thing about, I think it was in the late 60s that they changed from 32 to 40, but
Yeah.
432 hertz is the love frequency. I mean, it's our,
Oh, you're muted.
can you hear me?
Speak again.
Can you hear me now?
It's really quiet.
Oh, weird.
That's so strange. They don't want you to tell us. A
What about now?
little bit better.
Ah, what the heck? Okay, now I can't hear you though. I'm sorry, I lost connection. Well, the frequency of
There,
432
you're good now.
is okay, great. It's the frequency of love. It's that glue that holds us together, like we were talking about. And when you kind of shift that frequency, you start to notice that the geometry of that vibration starts to change and it's not as organized looking. You can see this on sand boards where they play vibration. It changed the sands into different
Mhm.
vibration
Yeah.
geometries. It's literally like this. So we have water in our bodies, we're 70% plus water. So when you change water, it forms geometry. We can see this in freezing water droplets, and we play music to them. So
Mhm.
frequency holds the vibration of the music within our water cells and all these things. So knowing our body are making these geometric patterns all the time, depending on what we're coming into contact with, just makes you realize that we can become out of balance, out of geometric geometry
Mm.
to become disorganized, to become sick. So all these things were
Mhm.
known and were put into our music, were put into our food to just
Yeah.
kind of slightly shift the vibration that's our natural running current.
Yeah.
And
And it's
so it's easy to
wow.
get out of that and feel sick and discombobulated. So
And
yeah,
we're mostly made of water. So if you think when water's memory and you're
exactly.
vibrating, it
Yeah,
remembers
literally.
because it's literally part of you. We're
Exactly.
elements, guys. We're elements, right?
Exactly.
And I'm hearing all these other elements that were taken off the periodic table. I don't need to know the details. I'm not here to fight anything. I'm just here because I am so curious.
So curious. That's
So
my favorite
curious.
topic.
That's all. Like it's like you're put into a game and I just want to know the rules of how to play. And
I
like, okay,
know.
that person's running the show. Okay. Or I have to beat that guy on level 3 or whatever, or I
Yeah.
have to,
Oh, yeah.
and it might not be linear like that. That's okay. You might
Yeah.
have to, I sometimes like, like the back code to like have 144 lives on these games, you know?
It's so
Hey,
true.
but it's funny when you really think about it, you're like, why is it written that way? You know, it's
Honestly.
so strange. Anyway, so I want to ask one more deep dive question.
Let's do it.
What do you think is happening right now in our current time? What do you think's happening? Who's running the show? What I mean, for me, in the collective energy, it appears to be I mean, my awareness of it is this level of suppression from information. Um, you can feel this energy. We can say it's somewhat negative, right? Trying to hold on control. What do you think that is?
Yeah, so I think that we came here with the choice of how to be. We're going to have duality, we're going to have polarity, and everyone's entitled to what they do with that. And
Mhm.
so we are going to have polarity opposite of us, very low vibe, trying to sway everything we're doing because that's why some souls came here, honestly, is
Yeah,
to play with that vibration and understand what that is.
yeah.
And it may not benefit some people, but they are still adding to the whole. But while that's going on simultaneously, we also have people, souls that are wanting to experience literally the opposite and know what it's like to expand and create from the heart rather than an inverted version of that.
Mhm.
And so I really think there's constantly two forces at play that are just trying to experience and understand and learn and
Yeah.
gather information and return it. And we will have this duality polarity in this current physical life, Earth, always. And so we have forces of the light, we have forces of the dark, literally, like Star Wars, all these movies we
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be just one here anyway. Here is where we get to play and experience. This is our sandbox of an incarnation where we are
Hmm.
just understanding what it's like to be, and create. And so I really think we will always have forces that are trying to play and manipulate, and forces that are trying to unravel and understand back to
Hmm.
the true form. And so we're going to have this push and pull always. And that's why you're riding that wave of life. You feel that push and pull of the
I was
energies,
just
and
going to
that's
talk
not going to
about the
stop.
wave. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just going to talk about that wave too, about Matteo Di Stefano, I think his name is, on
Yeah.
Gaia,
Yeah.
Mateus or whatever. He always talks about, like, we're not on a gradual decline or up. We are a wave. He's like,
Right.
that's just, we wouldn't be, that's energy. We wouldn't be able, energy
Exactly.
doesn't move certain ways. So you're going to have these polarities
Hmm.
of positive and negative. And he talked about the World War
Yeah.
II, where afterward you saw a rise in energy, human rights, like, because that was the time of a lot of segregation and things had shifted and people were more about supporting one another.
Right.
And it unfortunately took such a drastic low vibration to shift it to a higher vibration afterwards.
Yes.
So he talked a lot about that, which makes sense. And I do think that we're experiencing, I don't feel like this is the first time. I do believe there could be versions of timelines just to see what we do, whether this one's the most exciting timeline to watch to see what we do during this game. I do
So
feel
it's
that
heard.
too. What's
Yeah.
that?
So they've been told, everyone's kind of watching.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, wherever you
Outside.
get your resource, whatever you believe in. For me, I find, and I've never been more excited in my life about the quantum realms. There's something about, and it feels so comfortable to me, where people might not be comfortable,
Yeah.
and they feel when it's someone feels like it's an absolute. You and I chatted about this offline a little bit, like there's like, oh, it's all about this and it's not that and it's not this.
Yeah. For sure.
I right away I'm just like, we have no clue. Even what I'm saying today, this is just
Yeah.
me coming up with something that I was like,
Right.
wow, like
This is
I
my
can
truth.
see us in this
Yeah.
like place. Whether that's true or not, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
But
Right.
just the only way that I can, all in my experiences, somewhat try to understand and see the people, the reflections around me.
Hmm.
Um, but I think we just, yeah, in the end of it, let's try to enjoy the ride, of course.
Right.
But I also feel like it's okay that we might have rough times, and we
Absolutely.
have a hard time passing that level or passing that experience, and it's really hard to get through. And that's when it's great to have a tribe, your tribe to be there with
Right.
you. I can't
That's good.
stress how important it is. And someone's reached out to me to support them when they really needed it. And it was felt so good, not to be
Right.
needed, but so good that I could maybe play a part in that. And that's
Absolutely.
the relationship. That's why our relationship's happening, because at this moment in time, they needed me and I was able to provide help.
Hmm. Right. Being service to others, being able to get through those tough times really is the most elated feeling and bliss you can really possibly be as a human, which is the most complex vibrational shape when you really think about it. And so,
You saved
yeah,
me,
that's
man. If
really,
you weren't there,
that's interesting.
Nicole, we would have been, Nicole saved me in Utah. Like, we were stranded in Utah. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, I guess we could have paid for like an Uber and stuff, but at the end of the day,
You
you
need your
were like,
tribe.
the one time I needed you, really needed you in my life, for someone, like I said, we never met in the physical. We've been friends for a long time, but you stepped up and, like, look at us now. I mean,
Oh,
it's
no.
been amazing. And like the trust, and to trust in the
Right.
universe, trust in what we're doing
Yes.
is an
That's huge.
experience. For me, I do believe we're learning along the way. I don't think it's just for nothing. I don't think it's just to feel
Right.
whatever you want whenever you want. I really do believe that we're curious beings and we want to understand it. And when we felt one way once, and then we're like, "Ooh, I don't know if I like the way that felt." The next time
Yeah.
I present myself with the situation, how maybe I can show up in a different way. Maybe I'll still be angry, but I can understand
Hmm.
a little bit more, and I can calm down, or I feel really, really good. And the next time I have that experience, I might not feel as good, but I can remember what it felt like to have that
True.
experience.
Yes, exactly. To know that there is a possibility. And like we were saying, that this kind of types in the absolutes versus the possible and probable of anything, because
Right,
anything is possible and probable. I mean, there is no absolutes because our minds are we're infinite beings. I mean, we're
right.
multidimensional. So yeah, it's just what a trip to think about.
Absolutely. And I remember one of my kids, it was one either science, it was a science book. And they basically said, I believe it was the science book, or it was somewhere I was listening to something. They said they did the scientific method so many times they thought like, hey, that it's what is it called? The control. But it turns out, I think this was somewhere else. Turns out that it became more unpredictable and they just
Oh,
didn't report it. Yeah.
wow. That
Yeah.
is crazy.
That
And I guess too, they say there's organization in chaos in itself because it's organized chaos because it has a flow of the ups and downs.
right. But I think it was might have been another Gaia episode where a scientist was on and she was saying we were trying all sorts of different things with experiments and it would always be at some point it always changed. I guess as they got deeper and deeper and deeper,
Oh,
just like as
yeah,
far as we look
yeah,
deeper
yeah,
and
yeah.
deeper in the molecules, they become
Right.
basically black holes. And
Yeah.
nobody seems until now like they really want to touch that area or like something else. We keep the physics out and we look at everything else, but we can't deny
Right.
that. We really can't.
Right. I mean, they say, we've coined this term junk DNA, which is like 80% of our DNA, so like everything, and it comes to find out like that's the piece that is connected to this mystic unseen world where it's all in there, but we're just throwing it out because we don't quite understand it, but it
Right.
really is our universal connection to all things. And they've started to find that, and now it's the study of noetics, and it's amazing what they're doing with this information. Remote viewing, where they're literally studying this on a scientific level. So now we have more proof of this unseen that we can project our mind, and I could see you where you are, what you're doing without being there because of the connection that we have with this unseen consciousness that's
Right.
everywhere, which is absolutely amazing and goes to show how connected we are and why it feels so good to help others and serve others because we are the same connection to that source
Mm-hmm.
consciousness.
Mm-hmm. All
So,
right. I'm going to pull out a theory. I'm pulling out my last theory.
ooh, let's hear it.
So there's this whole idea of 2030, right? This transhumanism. Everybody knows about this, right? Everybody, I mean, they're talking about making AI, and some people I've talked to somebody like, I'll be AI. I don't mind, participating in that. But anyway, so
Yeah.
what I think may be happening here, let's just say if there's a program, right? And let's
Right.
just say someone completed the game. They
Ooh,
have the
okay.
knowledge of the game. And they're like, we did it. And they're seeing others still playing in it. And they're like, that's interesting. So I finished, they're still in there. And I benefit from being where I am. So
Mhm.
I'm going to make another game that is like a mirror of this game, right?
Mm,
And
that's
so
good.
if we can get more people to jump onto the mirror game, then we
Hmm.
can be on top all the time because something's happening because everybody's getting ready to finish this game. And then there's going to be another level. They're going to be complete. The game's going to be complete. And something else is. Can you not hear me?
No, I can't. Someone just pulled up. Sorry, but
Oh, it's
continue. I
okay.
like this analogy.
So anyway, I was thinking about this because I'm thinking, why does somebody want to become a machine or be part AI or whatever that is? And so I
Right.
did a little thinking about that. I'm thinking, well, because it seems like someone has information that most people don't.
Right.
And information is power in this
Right.
game, right? If you know
True.
things,
Absolutely.
back doors, whatever.
Hmm.
So that was just a thought that I had that maybe that's what it is, because some people like it like this. Some people that have information that are on top, that are
It's
maybe
true.
really powerful people, want to keep it
Oh,
this way. And they maybe have a better reality that they want people. That's why virtual realities, just wear your virtual
oh,
reality goggles and come on over.
it's
And
true.
yeah. So I think that was just a thought that I had,
I
not
love that thought.
truth at all, but I was like, wow, because some people might want to jump onto that reality, not really realizing how close they are
There's
to
someone knocking at
meeting.
my door.
Oh,
I'm
really?
so sorry. I need
It's
to get
okay.
this. It's a delivery. I'm
Okay.
so sorry,
No,
but
it's
hold
okay.
on.
You go and I'll just keep chatting. So anyway, that was a thought that I had. Um, I know it's far out there. Many people might not relate to it at all, but yeah, I'm just really interested because I'm finding a lot of people that have said a lot of amazing things recently, and or just not sure what to believe. Obviously, for me personally, I don't really watch anything on mainstream media. Um, and they can change anything. Not saying that there aren't things happening in the world, but I follow through various articles that I get on other channels. I'm still connected. I'm still aware. I'm still a human being, and I listen. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I think are similar, that are not buying it, or one person's picking one side and one person's picking another, which there's that polarity again. But I found it interesting to trying to further understand just what it is that we're doing in this space. Like, it seems like we've become aware that there's all these, right now we're in the middle of all these wars. There's a lot of stuff going on in our country. There's a lot of division, but yet there's a lot of people that I think are just kind of fed up with it all. And I'm seeing it. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people being like, coming together. The small communities are coming together. More people are a little bit interested in listening, and like Nicole said earlier, a lot of us are kind of saying the same thing. And I think that's awesome. And that's one reason why I started doing podcasts. I started having my own podcast called The Conscious Broadcast, so people could start sharing what their experiences and what they're working on. And I had a great interview just recently. Can't wait to share that on my channel. But yeah, so next time we got to get way more people on here to chat about what they think. Any topic, it could be any topic, but I'm really curious as to what people think um, this is all about. Maybe we can do another session where more people can get on and share what their experiences of what they think their purpose is. And again, this is what I shared today is something that came to me. This is what is a potential that I think I'm open to. It could be different as I get more information. But it brings a lot along the path of my awakening, where I saw things very differently. I don't feel bad about it being in potentially a simulation at all. It makes more sense to me. And why there might be the powers that be that control certain things, or there's certain rules that I'm now finding that are rules, and or why is it that some might break rules and get away with it, right? Things just make a little bit more sense, and it becomes easier. It's an easier load. You don't get as emotional when you might see something that seems bad, because number one, it might not even be completely true. So yeah. Well, I think I'm going to stop the podcast here today. I don't know if Nicole's going to be returning, but we're very excited to be able to do these kind of conversations. I want to keep doing them. I want to grow these. Spirit-calling.com is the platform that supports these kind of conversations. I hope that you consider looking into it. They have tons of material and content that you can check out at that website. Beautiful people there, lots of conversations happening. So I hope that you consider it. And I'm so excited again to be able to have these conversations. So we look forward to meeting again in December, probably the end of the month around the same time. And I'm going to be gathering more people to jump on to have another wonderful conversation. But in the meantime, stay well, and we'll see you next month. Take care.